I'm going to do something a little bit different today. I'm going to read a few sections of a chapter in this book, Garden of Hearts. I wrote this book years ago. I was going through a really dark time, a dark time that I had brought on all myself. I'd hurt a lot of people, and I just needed to get it out and heal from it. But there were other things that had happened years prior to that in my life that have stuck with me, and some that I don't think are ever going to go away. But I try to give it to Jesus every day because it's a struggle. So I am a crazy mom, and my sister passed away when she was 14. I was 19 at the time, and I know when people tell you when somebody dies that it gets easier, and it does. It does get easier. But there are things that never really go away. And it's really scary having kids because you never know what's going to happen to them. And that is something that I have been struggling with because my oldest graduated 2 years ago. She's in her second year of college, and I still am on Life 360 all the time looking at where she's at. And I know that's horrible, but I have a daughter that's going to graduate this year and one next year, and I have a son who's 8, and I've got many years left, but it's really hard. Like, the goal is to raise your kids to be functioning adults and to go out in the world and be independent, and it's really hard because you just don't know. So it's just something we just gotta pray about and give to God every day. So but because I lost my sister and all of that, like, I have this fear, it is a real fear of losing one of my kids. And so that's where this comes from. And my next book is about motherhood and dealing with this. So anyway, I'm going to read a few sections of this book, and it's available on my website. And so here we go. I'm going to try not to cry. Chapter 1, Angels and Smoke. Thick smoke hung like a thick blanket of yellowish gray fog that summer of 2000. The haze blocked the sun, creating an eerie veil of darkness that hovered across Montana. I will never forget July 24th of that year. Every time the smoke rolls in during fire season, my mind goes back to that day, to that week, to that summer. It's not just an anniversary because a day is only a day. It's a memory that pulls me back. The feeling in the air, it's despair and heartbreak. The unthinkable sense that my life would never be the same again, and all I could think of was why. I was working a split shift at a local restaurant that summer, a waitress for the lunch and evening rushes. I had not slept well the night before, tossing and turning most of the night, and I was cold. Monday morning dawned and I wasn't feeling well. I figured it was probably from lack of sleep or a slight bug going around. I almost called in sick that day. The day began like any other. My shift went as usual, with the local regulars coming in. With the peak of tourist season in full swing, business picked up throughout the afternoon. An older woman, well, she seemed old to me, but was probably only in her 60s, came in and sat down at the counter. She was well dressed, with dark hair streaked with gray, nicely done up in a bun. She was very kind, but oddly attentive. At least 4 times while walking by her, she said to me, "Everything is going to be okay." Her words made me uncomfortable. Who is this weirdo? When she finished her meal, I met her at the cash register where she paid her bill. Before leaving, she said it again, with a slight alteration. "It's okay, honey. Everything will be okay." She smiled, then left the restaurant. Sweet, sweet woman, but so freaking weird. I kept busy serving the customers and didn't give the woman another thought. I went about the rest of my shift. The lunch rush didn't last long that day, and because I wasn't feeling well, my boss told me to go home early and rest before coming back that evening. Within 5 minutes after I got home, the phone rang. Alicia, my stepmom said, drawing out my name, Megan passed away. It felt like I had been struck by an invisible but overpowering force, yet still alive to experience the pounding shockwaves. I couldn't breathe. No, not Megan, not my sister. This absolutely could not be happening. My stepmom said that Megan had died during the night at her friend's house while she was sleeping. No one knew until the next morning when she didn't wake up. It was now 1:30 in the afternoon. Why was I just finding out about it? I should have been notified right away. Some images never completely leave your mind. Some memories that are too painful to think about find a way to creep back in. That day is forever etched in my mind. So I'm going to skip a little bit because some of these are really hard to read. And when we arrived at my dad's house, I was standing at the top of the steps of the porch. With tear-filled eyes, he choked out. I can't believe she's gone. Then he broke into sobs. His words unleashed the nightmare. I wanted to scream, but I couldn't breathe. The surreal numbness that had invaded my body and mind was real. My little sister was dead. Why would God allow this to happen? The previous summer, I had experienced my first death of a young person. My stepbrother Brian had died from a gunshot accident on July 15th, 1999. The day after his tragic death, I had driven up to my dad's house, much like I did on this day just 1 year and 9 days later, to see his brother and a friend washing the blood out of his car. Such heartbreak one does not heal from. So I'm skipping down again. So there was a lot that went on, and then my grandma and grandpa were out of town, and they actually had to have law enforcement come find them out on a lake, and they had driven straight home. My grandma hugged me and she said, "I've been praying the whole way home, and Jesus told me, everything is going to be okay. Megan is with him now, and she is okay. Alicia, he told me that Megan is no longer in pain, and she won't have to take shots every day. She is at peace." Oh, wow. Okay. Oh, how I wanted to believe that was true. But I thought, so what if it is even true? There was absolutely no reason for my 14-year-old sister to be gone from our lives, to be in heaven. She hadn't experienced enough life here. How could a good God let this happen? It's really hard to read. So I'm gonna skip forward because there is a lot that I just can't read. My dad was losing his mind, and there was just, it was hard. One day during the week of Megan's death, we were all sitting around in my dad and stepmom's living room, reminiscing about my sister. The preacher was there, and we discussed stories to share at her funeral. I brought up a day I had heard of her passing and how I hadn't been able to sleep the night before. Did I somehow know something wasn't right? Could I feel that she was slipping away, that her bright light was leaving this world? And the thought that I wasn't able to save her crushed me. I also told them about the woman in the restaurant who said everything would be okay. And my dad said, maybe she was an angel. That had never crossed my mind. He said it so naturally that it made me believe that just maybe she was. She told me over and over that everything was going to be okay. And Jesus told my grandma that everything was going to be okay, that Megan was in heaven with him and she was in no pain. At the time, I wanted to believe those things more than anything. But the anger I had toward God left so much room for doubt. Now, however, more than ever, I believe them to be true. The Bible says, "Do not forget to show hospitality to strangers, for by doing so, some people have shown hospitality to angels without knowing it." Hebrews 13:2. If that woman was an angel, she was reassuring me that my sister was okay and that I had nothing to worry about. Unfortunately, I did not show the woman or angel much hospitality. I was annoyed with her and thought she was a weirdo. But since then, much has happened, and I believe that God took my sister out of this world for a reason. Of course, I wonder what she would have been like had she lived, and I wish with my whole heart that she could be a part of her nieces and nephews' lives. I often wonder if she would have had children of her own, or what it would be like for my kids to have close cousins. I really miss her, but I know in my heart that she is okay. Even at her death, I sensed an unexplainable feeling that her passing was not the end. Now I know for certain that I will see her again, and this could be why. He has made everything beautiful in its time. He has also set eternity in the human heart, yet no one can fathom what God has done from beginning to end. Ecclesiastes 3:11. Did you catch that? He has set eternity in the human heart. And we're all wired that way. So I just wanted to share that with you. And this book is available on my website. The digital version is on Amazon, but I'm going to have it on my website soon. So anyway, that's that for today. So have a great day.